to get in. Um, Let me start out by saying good morning. Good morning. Thank y'all for tuning in. I decided to try to come in today to scream the news so that we'll be informed about what's going on. All right, so I know I was supposed to have been geared up and here ready to go, but one moment. Okay, so this is the first story, and before I start, let me grab something to drink real quick. first story I pulled up, so just so you'll have an idea of what's going on with my layout, I have the missing children's on the right side of the screen. And we'll look at those two before we go for a little break. And then on the left side, I have the actual news stories. I'm going to turn the elevator music down some so you can hear me better. All right, so as we start off, I didn't do my homework on the case, so I actually have to read it. To y'all, and we can get the news that way. It says, and before I start off, just to also give you a the agenda for today, I have some nonviolent crimes and then some violent crimes I want to go over real quick. I didn't pull up anything from the weather, but we should at least pray for those that may not have had adequate heating. How do I want to say it? So we just definitely want to be prayerful and mindful of those that did not have adequate heat during these cold winter nights. And so we just want to pray that the Lord will send the comforter to them so that they could be comforted in their time of need. Also, we just want to pray over these victims of violent crimes, of victims in general. However, those that have lost their lives, we definitely want to take time out of our day, just out of remembrance for those that have lost their lives. So when we look here at the first story I have, I'm going to go over the first three stories. Then I'm going to switch gears and go to the nonviolent crimes to kind of switch it up a little bit, because this can be stressful for some. This can be stressful for some that are, don't want to hear this kind of stuff. Kind of, we want answers to why this is going on. I actually had a little speech that I had wrote up, because sometimes these circumstances seem to be along the lines of but I'm gonna have to look for it. I'm gonna have to shuffle through these papers. But sometimes these crimes seem to shuffle along the line of incels. Women being targeted. There's different sorts of targeting. It looks like police are also being targeted. Black women are being targeted, and women are being targeted. And we want answers, We live in a great land here, and a lot of people want to come here for good reasons, because other countries have different government systems and different ideologies. Like, United States is a Christian country, which means that we believe in charity. We believe in the innocence, not just always looking at people as being wrong, and we believe in not taking a bribe. Especially when it's going to hurt the smaller people. We don't want people to be taken advantage of. But other countries, have different laws. Like, Muslims, women. That's one religion that we definitely is not catered to us. Not to say that people are not going to have hard times in life. Just saying that we don't want to be in a religion that allows the women to be mistreated. Some people will say, well, Christians allow women to be mistreated, and that's called or considered false doctrine. And if someone has ever told a woman that the church, the Christian church, the King James Bible, or any of those versions of it condone a woman, or if it's biblically bound that women are supposed to be mistreated, that's a lie. Women are not supposed to be sold, beat, or any of that. Okay, so we got to get out of that. That's a cult, because there's no way I can, in the United States at least, take advantage of a woman unless she's willing, unless she's uninformed of what her or she's uninformed of what her duty and her defenses are. Women, we have to report petty crimes. That's just like, maybe you got assaulted at the store, and maybe they got the best out of you, but we supposed to have reported that. And I think that that's one thing that we're missing the mark on. We're not reporting it. Now, here's the problem, and here's the call to action. These stores are witnessing it, and there should be some form of understanding that the systems are being only look like it's only working for those that have money, and that's not Christian. That's not very Christian. But it works. It works. I'm not saying the system don't work. I do believe it works, because a lot of people want to say that, this, that, and the third about United States. However, nobody is willing to go to Canada. Nobody is willing to go to Europe, spend time and learn a different language and move over there, because I hear a lot of people have gotten great joy and less stress and live longer moving to different continents from United States. I know I definitely want to be a big advocate, not only just for decreasing crime, because it is free, but also for, maybe African Americans, we need to understand, take a good history lesson, and understand that a lot of stuff that's been going on has nothing to do with what we did. Like, because of our actions, we're not paying off a debt because of what we did. But I believe that we have violent states that we tend to flock together to be around those that have a common ground with us. But what we forget is that we have to look past our skin and find common ground with our personalities, with our crafts. Some people are good with landscaping. Some people may be good with harvesting. And some people may be good at wanting to be able to harvest and landscape. And I think we as black women might need to kind of come together with our resources and see if maybe we can get some type of our own town and community. We could start off small with maybe like 200 acres, because I think you need a certain amount of acres per people, so that you can have an incorporated town. With the incorporated town, you can have your own laws. The purpose of that is just so it's just a be for people who just want to live their life. You don't want to be attacked for no reason. And right now with the pandemic, on top of the economic situation, I believe we had a K recovery, and that means that some people just went straight down, and some people went, some people, a couple of folks went straight on up, but a lot of people kind of went up and then went down. So that's the K recovery. And people not having what they need. It's extremely cold. um what happens, I don't know what's the cause of so much violence. Me having grown up in the 80s, it was a very violent era, and it got calm, but it does seem like it's cooking up a little bit. And I wish I knew why. We can know for certain that it's a combination of things. You have fentanyl that's out here doing stuff. They say the Corbett now has linked to people having brain the generation. So, and then just mental health. And I hate to say this, a lot of people are serving mental health realness, I guess you could say. Um, and so I mean, I speak in a way to not offend people, because I know people want to see a good match, but I really am not in that mode of, with the negative comma. I was always taught if you couldn't say anything positive, then don't say anything at all. And a lot of times people say stuff just to get a reaction out of people. I guess because it's big money in it, especially if you're talking down about women. And I'll make the video where I'll show you specifically what I mean by that. There's a video of a YouTuber. He was making like 4 million or whatever, and but he was making very degrading videos on women and exploiting women, and like obviously being a pedophile. And nothing happened to him. He wasn't arrested, although police was called on him several times. And the minors remained in his possession, because by the time they got to him, they was of consenting age. YouTube never canceled the account, and even though they was asked several times. And so what ended up happening was they demonetized him to where he could not make videos on the accounts he had associated with his name. Okay, so unfortunately, but okay, before I go here, let me just say one more thing. Um, I'm sorry, 1 second. I was taking a quick look at something. All right. So we've been on this screen for about 30 minutes now. I'm not real pressed for time at the moment, but I know other people are. So if you are okay with the sound of my voice, because some people hate it, but then you have others that love it. So So for those people that love the sound of my voice, definitely play this um, video back and definitely share it with anybody who you believe or love to hear, the news read to them. Because some people, like the elderly, may have limited vision and, wouldn't mind the news read to them. This channel that I'm trying to build won't it's a possibility that anything can happen, but I'm not recognizing or going for that. You know, you know what I'm trying to say. That huge, cult like following at all, because this is seriousness on a serious tip. I mean, I'm not middle aged at this time, but I am definitely to the point to where I could start my life over, meaning my first batch of kids are raised, so I can adopt kids now or just change careers or do both or something else or whatever. So I just say that to say, like, this channel is not for the back and forth, the you show is ugly, haha, all that and whatever. It's not made for kicks and giggles. It's not made to be twerking. And I definitely don't want to debate anybody about my topics, about my opinion on domestic violence. Domestic violence should be a capital murder charge. It doesn't. Okay, so let's look at this story right here. It says, now this was Latima Warren. She was 32 years old. It says the remains of a Detroit woman reported missing in December were discovered inside her home on Monday, officials said. Latima Warren, 32, was dismembered and found scattered inside bags around the home on the 8,000 block of Vaughn. Warren's grandmother told the news Fox 2 Detroit. On Sundays, searchers found bags of Warren clothes in the backyard and called police. The station also reported. Let me drop that part out. The mother of four was reported missing on December 8th, officials stated. The station reported Warren was shot to death, according to investigators. On Thursday, Detroit police announced on Facebook they charged Warren's boyfriend and the father of her 3-month-old child with her murder. So the police chief Jim White said that our hearts go out to the family and friends of Miss Warren. This is beyond tragic, and I'm thankful for the men and women of the Detroit Police Department who have worked tirelessly on this case. Meanwhile, the grandmother, Gwen Parks, to the oldest of the Warren children, because she had 3 children, I believe. She created a GoFundMe to help funeral services, and alleged police didn't help search for Warren right away, unfortunately. She wrote about the grim discovery and said she did her best in searching for Warren. My soul is at peace because I know I did all I could to bring Tima back to her beautiful babies alive, she wrote on the fundraising site. I come to you asking for your support to assist the family with laying Tahima to rest. Make sure she has a headstone and keep her memory alive for her 4 babies. So let's click on her GoFundMe so we can get the information real quickly. So if we look up Gwen Parks, so we go up here and we search Gwen Parks. Okay, one moment. and then we'll see her, and we can donate for funeral expenses and a headstone for her. Very unfortunate that the family feels that the police didn't look for her right away. I'm gonna check my mic. I'm just gonna go on mute real quick. I'm gonna turn up the elevator music though. Okay, so this is a microphone check. It seems like it's working so far. Usually it doesn't. I'm not gonna say I'm coming in any louder, but it sounds okay to me. I hope everybody else like it. Although I can't see the chat. But like I said, please subscribe, like, comment down below on this video. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Okay, so we have the family of a 23-year-old black woman who, wait, that's not loud enough. Let me check my microphone again. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Mm, I don't think that's any better. Oh, I hate this. I should have did this before I came on. Messing with the mic. One more chance. One more. I think this one is probably better. There is some background noise. I do hear that. All right, so I'm gonna rock with it this time. I'm so sorry. So the family of the 23-year-old black woman who died after a date with a man she had met on a dating app plans to sue the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut, charging that its police department's handling of the case has been racially insensitive. The woman, Lauren Smith Fields, was found unresponsive on December 12th in her apartment in Bridgeport by a man she had met on Bumble. According to the incident report provided by NBC News by her family's attorney, who is Darrell Crosland. The man is 37 years old, white, according to the public records. NBC News is not naming him because he has not been charged. Crosland said Smith Field's family has been told the man is not a person of interest in the case, a move the family considers unacceptable, he said. Crossland filed a notice of claim Friday, accusing the police of not taking the case seriously enough from the start, for example, by not doing a thorough investigation of the apartment. The notice also alleged the acting assistant police chief Rebecca Gracia, Mayor Joseph Gannons, and three others from the police department violated the rights of Smith Field and her family under the 1983 Civil Rights Act and failed to provide her and her family with the due process accorded to them under the 14th Amendment. The police department has been racially insensitive to this family and has treated this family with no respect and has violated their civil rights, the notice says. They have failed to investigate this matter and they refuse to view the last person with Lauren Smith Fields before she died as a person of interest. This behavior is unacceptable. A cause of death has not yet been determined, the medical examiner office said Thursday. Crosland said the mother is also awaiting the results of an independent autopsy. Crosland said the family says they were not contacted by police for days and learned of Smithfield's death from her building's landlord who directed them to the police. Now it says here that Carlson also alleged the police did not initially conduct a thorough search of the apartment 2 weeks after her death at the urging of the family. Carlson said police visited the apartment and collected a condom with semen in it from the bathroom and a pill. He said police told the family the condom and pill were sent to the lab for analysis. Carlson also alleged that the family was told by the first detective assigned to the case to stop calling in to inquire about the investigation. This sounds horrible. Let's listen to this right here. 6 minutes, and we'll come back real quick.
Danica Jean-Pierre is a mother of 3 with 1 on the way and a sergeant in the Baltimore Police Department.
When you first come on, you're thinking, these people are going to do the right thing. Integrity. They're a police officer. Then when you get inside, and it's totally different.
Danica is one of 4 women suing the city of Baltimore and the Baltimore PD for discrimination within the department.
If you had to choose one word to describe the environment at your workplace, how would you describe it?
Toxic.
Hostile.
Dysfunctional. Scary.
These sergeants served for more than a decade. All but 1 are still on the force.
I felt like I had no other choice but to be forced to resign, or I was going to be disciplined for, no reason.
The 4 lawsuits each allege racial and gender discrimination. 2 lawsuits also allege pregnancy discrimination, and 2 allege disability discrimination.
There was a white male sergeant. He would ask me, could I be his first black girl, because he's never been with a black girl before. Once he kind of got the hint that I'm like, no, I started getting toy racks placed on my desk.
After Jasmine Rowlett reported the alleged sexual harassment, she claims she faced harsh retaliation. The department denied most of Rowlett's allegations in response to her complaint.
I'm known as the snitch there. I'm wondering, is there going to be an accidental discharge when somebody's cleaning their weapon? Because you
It's
just
gone
can't
that far where that's a fear you have.
These people are dangerous. There are no limits to what they will do.
This isn't her first time suing the department for sexual harassment and discrimination. Last year, Jasmine received a settlement of $77,000 from the city. All of the women reported their claims through official channels, but they say things only got worse afterward.
It's like your name and your picture's on a bullseye.
I came forward with the information that this commander called an applicant an expletive N-word. I was involuntarily transferred. I was marginalized, ostracized in every way you can think about.
Danica was nearing the end of her pregnancy when she says the retaliation reached a fever pitch and the stress induced a premature birth.
I ended up having my baby on the sidewalk in 30-degree weather with no professional help, none. They never asked.
A fever pitch and the stress induced a premature birth.
I ended up having my baby on the sidewalk in 30-degree weather with no professional help, none. They never asked, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Do you need anything? Nothing. When are you coming back?
A spokesperson for the Baltimore police tells NBC News.
I wonder about when the workforce was created. If we take a step back, looking at history, we were told that we was we was told that it was created for men. Well, put it this way, uh, my research states that the workforce was initially created for men, and so that's why it's highly competitive. Women don't necessarily work that way, so it's like a skill we have to learn. And the question is it a skill that women need to learn, or is there something that men need to unlearn so that we can have a conducive workforce to people lifestyles? No one wants to have a job, but then they told take a health. I mean, take but nobody wants to work a job, and then their health takes a toll. Now, I'm really big on this. Now, I don't know if women bodies may take a toll before men. I'm pretty sure that's not the case across the board, but probably majority cases. Maybe men bodies are built to where they don't need time off because they pregnant and gonna have a baby, or their body doesn't have the same workings that a woman has that can I hate to say that I'm a victim of anything, but yes, I'm a victim of stalking. And so um I've been stalked for over 2 decades now, and it's really hard to arrest those kind of people because they always are very violent. He has attempted murder charge. He tried to put a gun on his mama, and So that just explains the magnitude of the violence that he's capable of. Now, whether or not the police are sleeping on him, I can't say so. I don't know anybody who can say they have met him to sit here and say that he's anything other than a criminal. And he does not belong in society. He doesn't belong in a jail. I don't know where society can put people like this and the people that's helping him. Now, just to make it understood, it would be very cute if we could all say that this is a figment of my imagination and this is not going on. But, I've been looking at it over time, and the man is extremely violent, but what he does is he works well in public places. So, like, wherever you work, he'll come in and he goes through from the back to the front. He works the back end then the front end, and on all levels. And we all know that you need money to be able to do all of that. You need money to be able to do all of that and get away with it. So somebody has to be vouching for him, or this is just another one of those cases where these people are extremely violent. And it's just messed up because it's not that it's just bad for me. He monitors me. So anybody that I watch, let's say I watch another YouTuber, you can hear the YouTuber say, hey, somebody is watching me saying your name and stuff like this, blase blase and so on and whatnot. Because everybody really understand that you dealing with a nut, and you definitely don't want this dude to come from behind. But see, y'all don't know what he looked like. But I have a video down there, two stalkers. Both of these dudes. But I think all us women need to put all these men that ever kind of creepy like pop in your life. We need to start posting them on YouTube, because this is definitely not going to work. These guys are very violent, and they will double team you, and they come up with all kinds of scams and schemes, and they're very violent, so it's not good. They may just want to occupy just stop you whatever you're doing. You're just trying to have a peaceful day, and they just want to start prank calling the fire department, the EMS, all of those, and now they driving with all this bump, and you just trying to have a quiet day. And you notice that it's a shut-in, you ain't left in like a whole 2 weeks, and it's the same thing going on and on and on and on. So why is it that these folks don't get arrested? I mean, why is it I don't understand that, unless somebody is supporting, somebody is backing him with money. Maybe they're not giving him money, maybe they're not paying money for him to have anything done. Maybe they are, but I think it's shameful that men are out here like this for women. They act like women are only here on earth for one thing, and that's to be a tool for a man to use. And they're just saying anything to live they fucked up life any kind of motherfucking way they think they supposed to. And excuse my French, because that's exactly what's going on. And it's sad that you gotta stay cammed up all the time to get some form of a relief like that. And I don't understand how was saying how men are able to operate like that. And the sad thing is the way that I have to live my life for the past 20 years. This is just how I move forward because I listen to all the women who are on death row right now. You know what they say? Each and every one of them said they wish they would have did something else. You do not get to just kill nobody. You got to get that stuff on camera. Is your word against theirs? So, maybe somebody else got a camera or something. If you look at it, because these dudes are nothing but criminals, and people shouldn't be able to put their hands on you even in public places. And one day is going to be somebody wrong day. Me personally, I have a serial number specifically for one individual, but if they flunky so happen to want to stand in, then so be it, because I mean, what do you want me to do? My life is just as valuable as yours. And I live it by not being violent towards you. So it's real, I don't know, it's just real messed up, but that men would even think of competing against women in a contact sport. And then it's like they looking for the disabled type of small body, sickly, ill looking type of women and kids and small kids and infants. I mean, I used to see men with like 8 kids, 8 little babies and toddlers walking around in the store. And I would think that these guys are decent guys. No, come to find out, you question these guys about who the father is, and they'll straight out try to get in a brawl with you. And that's messed up because that's potential human trafficking when this dude is like talking about when it looks like he got drug activity, like he deals with drug activity, some form of an illegal activity. It's awkward though that they haven't made laws that would you know that would I don't understand how the concept doesn't flow naturally with people. You mean to tell me that you think it's okay for a man who's when you match his strength against hers is no way on the same level. We're not built like that. No woman is built to be physically stronger than a man. So why is it if he put his hands on me, considering the science behind, there's no way that I'm as strong as he is, that he gets the same amount of time as if he was just hitting another male. or another male that's smaller than him, at least, in that case, because there's people who live their entire life like that, just putting their hands on the smaller man, the smaller woman. So now you gotta be as big as a hog, so they'll leave you alone. And then what happens? Your health is all up in the fritz, and now you every other day at the appointment giving the doctor shelving out money to these doctors that the science is designed in medical school. They're told that you know their pain level is less than everybody else, meaning other people don't need as much as they do. But um let's get back to the when women are assaulted, I don't know why society wants to think that it was just a freak of nature. These situations be extremely well planned out, and they be working in channels. I mean, it's just so obvious what they're doing. Let's take a look at the next story. Um Now this lady, who we gotta have a job, correct? Don't women need a job? Do women not need a job? How are we supposed to eat? Or how is anybody supposed to live if you can't, you know, if you need like a personal security guard? Now this story was reported yesterday around noon. A Pennsylvania man has been charged with murder after a woman was beaten to death inside a Philadelphia office building. On Wednesday around 2:15 p.m., Jeffrey Stepien allegedly attacked Samantha Mag and beat her to death while she was sitting at a reception desk on the 8th floor of a building in the historic Old City neighborhood. Per the outlet, police said that Stephen 48 attacked Mag 31 from behind, striking her in the head numerous times with a pipe. Meg was taken to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead. The attack was reportedly captured on surveillance video, according to police. Responding officer at the scene saw Steppen leaving an elevator covered in blood and stopped him. When they searched his bag, they found two pipes covered in blood. Police added, per the Inquirer. Court records obtained by people show that Stepson was arraigned on Thursday morning. He was charged with murder and possession of an instrument of crime with intent. Stephen was also denied bail and is scheduled to appear in court again on February 7th. And then it starts talking about how the people send their condolences, the actual company that she worked for. Now this is something that's not as violent, and I picked this one because it shows about character of people. This is something you don't hear a lot about, but whenever I deal with certain people, I always get a very hostile interaction, and I could say that it seems to be that way with particular group of people, and it's very unfortunate. I don't know why that is, but a University of Arkansas professor pleaded guilty Friday to lying to the FBI about patients he had for inventions in mainland China. Simon Saul Tion Ang plead guilty in federal courts in Fayetteville, Arkansas, to one count from a 58-count federal indictment. Prosecutors say 24 patients bearing X's names were filed with the Beijing government, but that he failed to report the patients to the university and denied having them when questioned by the FBI. The university requires disclosure of all faculty patients, which the university would own. The plea deal calls for a 1-year prison sentence, but the crime could be punishable by up to 5 years in prison. The 64-year-old Fayetteville resident was suspended from the university facility when he was initially indicted. Let's come back to that other story that was at the bottom of this, but this high court could limit 2020 tribal land decision in Oklahoma. So I just want to know what was going on with the Native Americans. So this said the Supreme Court agreed Friday to consider limiting a recent decision about Native Americans' land in Oklahoma that the state says has produced chaos in its courts. The justices said they would take up a question to clarify whether the state can prosecute non-Native Americans for crimes committed against natives in a large proportion of eastern Oklahoma that the High Court ruled in 2020 remains a tribal reservation. The case will be argued in April, the court said, but the justices did not agree to the state's request that the court consider overruling the 2020 decision in McGritt versus Oklahoma altogether. The Supreme Court does not typically reconsider its decision so soon. But the state argued that the crimes are going uninvestigated and unprosecuted because federal authorities who can bring criminal cases from tribal land when the suspect, victim, or both are Native Americans are overwhelmed. All right, so this is talking about this seems like a legal situation. Maybe they have it set up that they want. For instances, there's another article I had read that pertained to, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can bring it up. Um, there are some countries that don't allow certain videos to be played, and their people want United States to govern that. And you know what that means is that one world order or government. I don't know how long I can stay live, because I might get muted so y'all can just watch the surveillance part, because I don't know what's going on, but it just gets pretty rough. It gets really bad. It's not always like this, I can say that much. But from time to time, it gets really bad to where it seems like maybe somebody is making a request to, like, is telling somebody to put my life and my family life in danger, and they need to be held accountable for that, because that this is not how they're living their lives, and it's just not fair to people, because this could be happening to so many people. Also, I had found this story here, guys. This says a Las Vegas man locked woman in Harry Potter closet while child lived in home covered in human waste. A Las Vegas man faces sex trafficking, sorry, kidnap, kidnapping, and child endangerment charges for forcing a mother to live in what police describe as a Harry Potter style closet in a filthy home she shared with her 2-year-old son. When Las Vegas Meter Police when Las Vegas Metro Police went to arrest Corey Hughes, 30, at the home near Desert Inn and Paradise Rose, they said they found a room covered in human waste. So, this is just terrible. I mean, just to get past that first paragraph, I mean, let's read that again. This man is faced with sex trafficking, kidnapping, because that's what human trafficking is when you hold a spy against their will, and child endangerment charges for forcing a mother to live in what police called a Harry Potter style closet with a filthy home she shared with her 2-year-old son. Now, some of this said that it was like waste in it. Well, that's what it said in the title, but it says police said that they met the victim earlier this month. She told police huge offered to help her by setting up prostitution dates. Over the few weeks, police said the victim was forced to prostitute herself for $1,000 a day. The victim met the LVMPD vice officers one night and spoke to an advocate, but when she returned home to Hughes, he ripped up the business card. Last week, Hughes found a message on the victim's Instagram account that he did not like. Then he forced the victim to live in the closet under the set of stairs. He also barricaded the door and locked the victim inside for several hours. Once Hughes let her out, he asked her if she saw the crumbs on the floor of the closet. Hughes told he had locked a previous girl in that closet and fed her snacks, fed her Cheetos under the door like a rat. Earlier this week, Hughes allegedly hit the victim in the front of her young child, causing the child to cry. Hughes faces charges of sex trafficking, coercion, kidnapping, and child endangerment. Child Protective Services responded and returned the 2-year-old to his mother. But like I said, it seems like one thing, but it could be another. This stalker is a very good liar. Is maybe perhaps he has gotten a hold of just whatever bum is laid out on the street and can tailor him a police uniform and put him in one of them fake Crown Vics, because I got a story of that one as well. I had read, I think last month or 2 months ago, and I can look that one up and see what happened. But a man was posing. This happened in Texas. A man was posing as a police officer, and arrested a lady, and then attempted to rape her. So it is. Extremely unfortunate. But there was another article I had wanted to look at. I just had to also look at this story, and I know I said I was gonna go back and come back here, so I'm gonna do it like that. We'll come back to this story, but let's look at the tribal land. The Murdochs, because they actually have like a special or something like that, but it says the former South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdaugh faces 27 new charges. 4 new indictments were issued Friday against once prominent lawyer Alex Murdaugh, the South Carolina Attorney General office announced. The 27 new charges outlined in the indictments include breach of trust and with fraudulent intent and computer crimes. Now, what you don't know about this man here is that he was more than just a lawyer. He was the solicitor of a town called, I think, Hilton. Was it in the Hiltons in South Carolina? He was the solicitor, which other people called a district attorney. So he was way more than just a lawyer. And at the time of the announcement, the 53-year-old Murdaugh was in custody at the detention center in Columbia. The latest charges added to the dozen he was already facing included breach of trust with fraudulent intent, obtaining property by false pretense, money laundering, computer crimes, and forgery. Those charges were filed in November and December of last year. So the new indictment is about, if I'm looking at those numbers right, that's in the trillions, right? No, I'm sorry, I'm messing up. I thought that period they put pennies up. They put cents. Okay. So about almost 3 million. When added with his previous indictment, Murdoch is now accused of stealing almost 9 million. Murdoch has been accused of stealing money from his former law firm, planning his own death so that his son could get a life insurance payment, and defrauding the family of his former housekeeper who died after falling in his home in 2018. Okay, one moment. So that was those GAs, those airplanes. They're really loud as well. So it says Murdoch's wife and their 22-year-old son Paul were found dead at their South Carolina home. The investigations into their death is ongoing, and no one has been charged. Okay, so I thought he was in jail for the murder of his family. Okay, so he's in there for fraud, and the kind of fraud he wanted to fake his death. And wait, who death was he faking so that his son could get a big payout? Mm. All right, and then so I've been on here for about an hour. I guess we could take a quick break and look at the missing kids. So the first one is him. Wait. So this is Legend Perez. He was last seen August 14th, 2021. So that's almost 5 months ago. Now he's 2 years old. Um, he's a male, black race. Hair is brown, eyes is brown, and his height about 2.5 feet, and he's about 21 pounds. Now, he may be in the company of his mother, although legend is missing from Philadelphia. The New York Police Department is interested in his whereabouts. So, if anybody knows any information, don't hesitate. Call 911 or 1-800-843-5678, which is 1-800-THE-LOST. You could also call the New York City Police Department, New York, which is 212-694-7781. The next story, well, the next missing child, it, is Jonathan Bevins. He was last seen April 15th, 2021. So that was actually 9 months ago. Missing from Massachusetts, Brockton. So about 6 years old male, race is black, brown hair and eye color, about 4 feet and about 40 pounds. Now, he may also be in the company of his mother, but don't hesitate. Anyone with any information, they should contact or call 911 or 1-800-843-5678. The 1-800, I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. I said that in the other order. The 1-800-THE-LOST. Brockton Police Department, Massachusetts. And their number is 1-508-941-0200. Now let's take a look. We have a former owner of a national nursing home chain faces 22 federal tax labor charges. The former owner of the national nursing home chain that collapsed amid widespread allegations of neglect and mismanagement revealed in an NBC News investigation now faces 22 federal charges of labor violations and failure to pay federal taxes. Joseph Switzerts was arrested at his home in Rockland County, New York, say two law enforcement officials, and appeared at a hearing in Newark, New Jersey on Thursday afternoon. Schwartz, sorry for mispronouncing your name, lawyer Robert Fetter did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The indictment that was sought by the top federal prosecutors in New York, U.S. Attorney Philip Singlinger, charges that Schwartz, former owner of Skyline Healthcare, failed to pay employment and unemployment taxes for the 15,000 employees he had at 95 facilities across 11 states. At one time, Schwartz oversaw the care of more than 7,000 older Americans through his company, Skyline Healthcare, which at its peak owned or ran more than 100 facilities in 11 states. With a handful of staff members, Schwartz managed them from a tiny office over a New Jersey pizzeria. Doesn't that sound familiar? Now, This one says New York City judge dismisses 133 felony cases connected to disgraced detective. So, a New Jersey dismissed felony convictions against 133 defendants in cases linked to potential tainted testimony from a disgraced former detective. Bronx Supreme Court Justice David Lewis granted prosecution's request to dismiss felonies involving former NYPD detective Joseph Franco, Fransco, Fransco, that had been entered between 2011 and 2015, according to the Bronx District Attorney Office. With previous Bronx dismissals linked to Franco, there have now been 257 felony convictions in the Bronx tossed amid questions about the detective testimony. The Bronx DA Convictions Integrity Bureau has reviewed more than 600 cases involving Franco, who worked undercover narcotics in the borough between 2011 and 2015. In 2017 and 2018, Franco worked narcotics in Manhattan, where he's awaiting trial for perjury for allegedly lying about seeing drug deals. Manhattan prosecutors indicted Franco in 2019, accusing him of lying in testimony and paperwork about witnessing drug transactions that security camera footage showed never took place. Okay, but let's do that. A line of testimony and paperwork about witnesses during transactions that security camera footage never took place. Prosecutors are working the defendants' lawyers to undo another 2050 Bronx cases, meaning more than 500 convictions in borough could ultimately be kicked. You know, with criminal cases, the evidence has to be proven without a preponderance, meaning that there cannot be a shadow of doubt. It can't be one person that thinks that individual is innocent. You know, innocent enough to say, okay, because anything is possible if you look at it. Anything is possible, but when you look at the evidence that was presented, and from my understanding, the jurors can also ask questions. Prosecutors are working with defense lawyers to undo another 2015 Bronx cases, meaning more than 500 convictions in the borough could ultimately be kicked. I wanted to read this one. It says, woman charged with hate crime after telling kids Hitler should have killed them. Police says a woman was recently arrested in New York and charged with a hate crime after telling children outside a synagogue that Hitler should have killed them, according to police. The New York Police Department Hate Crimes Division announced on Twitter that a woman testified as 21-year-old Christina Darling was arrested on Friday and charged with hate crime, menacing, aggravated harassment, and acting in a manner injurious to a child. The incident was first reported by the NYPD earlier this week after they posted a surveillance video on Twitter asking the police help in identifying the woman. In the video, Darling can be seen walking down the street in the Marine Park neighborhood of Brooklyn towards a group of children who are blurred out. Okay, let's just see this instead of for me reading it, because it does take longer to read it than it does to watch it. Aloud anyway. Oh wait. Oh, it doesn't have audio, just shows her Okay, that's what they said. So then spat on them. So she's getting, it says, in front of 4017th Avenue P in Brooklyn, the suspect approached an 8-year old and two other children, made anti-Jewish statements, then spat on them. Oh, okay, they looking for this lady, wanted for aggravated assault. And this is the replay. Her right here. Here's the other story. Let's pause it and restart it so we can hear it. I'm gonna mute my mic so you won't hear the back sound, the background. I mean, you may hear a little bit of that now. I'm working on it. So anybody want to help support me with getting new mics or donate some mics to me, you can.
We do have some breaking news to tell you about this morning. A New York City police officer was killed and another critically wounded Friday night. Police say 22-year-old officer Jason Rivera was shot and killed when he and several officers answered a call about an argument between a woman and her adult son. After they spoke to the mother, the son opened a bedroom door and began firing. Rivera had been on the job just over a year. 4 New York City police officers have now been shot in the past 4 days. Mayor Eric Adams calling it an attack on the city.
Savannah Purdy was last seen on the Las Vegas Strip January 13th. Savannah Purdy was last seen on the Las Vegas Strip January 13th after walking away during an argument with her boyfriend. Now, since then, family and friends have been scouring the entire city, but at this point, they have very little to go on.
I don't exactly know what happened.
Jennifer Kruger knows the days are slipping away.
I'm worried sick.
A full week after her 25-year-old daughter, Savannah Purdy, vanished, a small search party puts up flyers near the Las Vegas Strip, hoping for any lead that brings her home.
If she's wandering these streets, she just is not in a mental frame of mind for anything.
And it's not her town.
And it's not her town. She knows nobody except her family that are here, and there's just a few of us.
Kruger says Savannah lives in Northern California and had been visiting Las Vegas for a few weeks. Her last contact with her daughter was January 12th, although Savannah's boyfriend tells the family he was with her a day later at Treasure Island. The two fought, he says, and Savannah left. She hasn't been heard from since.
He gave me back her cell phone and told me that he got it from his car, that she'd left it in his car, and she never leaves her cell phone behind.
What about a wallet, ID?
It's all connected to the cell phone.
Along with the Strip, the family is also searching the so-called homeless corridor, checking with shelters. According to Metro Police, as many as 200 adults are reported missing in Las Vegas every month. The vast majority are found or return home within 72 hours. As for Savannah, she's a mom herself to a 1-year-old daughter named Oakland.
Savannah, if you see this, call me. Come home. Call your grandparents, somebody. We love you and we're willing to help whatever the issue is. We gotta know.
Now, Kruger says Savannah had problems with drugs in the past, and she does worry she may have relapsed, but again, She was carrying no cash and no ID when she disappeared. If you think you know anything about where she might be, you are urged to call Metro Missing Persons at 702-828-2907.
I wonder about this case. How did she get there? Did he take her there? Because if he took her there, he should have brung her back. Yeah, so this is a situation where the last person that was seen with her, they know. Unlike well, with these kids, they know who she was last seen with, but they haven't found them. They should, you I would wonder that they would be able to locate the mother. You know, I wonder if maybe there's a grant or some type of um how do you say, a philanthropist. The reason why I think money should be put to figuring out what happened with these ones is versus with the one that we just saw on the video, because this is a case where it's hurting the most marginalized, are black women and children's are marginalized here. So with this one, it seems like they should be able to locate the mother, and if they can't, this, I wonder if like there's a philanthropist that would like to pay, you know, my channel so that I can have the resources to actually investigate this, because it does take resources to do that. Because let's say these kids could be a part of human trafficking, which is what's actually funding these kind of guys that just pop up out of the blue, and now they're with her or a female in your family, and it doesn't seem like people care until that her is them or him or whatever. And I think that people should take a good consideration into looking at the ones that's hurt the most first. Let's locate the mother, make sure she's not, you know, make sure she's in a good spot, check her out. But we'll keep an eye on these cases and circle back to them. But so what I'm going to do is in my live, and I'm going to do a little bit of homework, and I want to say perhaps by Monday, I want to try to post maybe another article on with a, well, just probably a video on a specific topic. The topic will be pertaining to the point of the women and marginalized are not being looked at, and we need the help the most. I mean, they're going to spend all that money and time and effort when they can find these ones real quick. In the process of doing that, they can probably discover so much that's going on. They probably will have to scoop up everybody in the facility or something. You know, you never know. And that kind of stuff just is not fair to be going on here, because you know they could be pulling these guys from indigenous places like Africa, and they could be getting these really big and strong guys that can overpower us and just put folks, you know, snatching the marginalized up to human traffic. And it's money tied into that. Just that alone, you know, it's perks like kickbacks behind it. So it's not nothing that you're going to be able to live off of. But for people who just need a car and don't mind being a criminal, is perfect. Sorry about that. I had a mild dysfunction. I just wanted to make sure I told you guys everything. Wasn't there one last story I had? Let me double check. I was rambling on about funds should be spent on these little ones first. For the just for the fact that that's what's funding those guys to be able to go above and beyond social economical statuses. None of that, no one is going to be a protected class if money is the only category. So let me double check. I thought I had one other case. So this says man kills girlfriend, shoots her son and himself inside Helena Gardens apartment. Police. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Police are investigating the late night shooting of Helena Gardens that left a woman dead and her son injured after investigators say her boyfriend opened fire. Officer responded to the scene after 10 p.m. in the 9800 block of West Oak Kobe Road after reports of a shooting in the area. Investigators determined that Julio Espiritu opened fire on both his girlfriend Angelina Rodriguez and her son before turning the gun on himself, but did not release a reason why. At the scene, Miami-Dade police found Rodriguez dead inside the apartment while both her 14-year-old son and Esperanto were found suffering from gunshot wounds. The male victims was rushed to the Ryder Trauma Center with Espiritu in critical condition and the teenager in stable condition. So that's that'll be it for today, and so I'll try to work on a, a more in-depth video for you guys pertaining to, I want to say, a wide view of the current picture look of what we're looking at when the government fails majority of the society. The laws that they writing and stuff, is it only works for them, as it always have. And don't get me wrong, it works for us, and sometimes it doesn't work for them when you have certain type of individuals that are extremely violent in nature. So, all these people that are involved with these murders usually have very extensive criminal records. The government should at least chip these kind of people so that we can see on our phones before we pull up into Walmart, before we drive down the street, so we know that these are violent offenders around us, or there's people around us and they don't even have any ID. These could be illegal or human traffic or who knows. But violent and sexual offenders should be chipped. So I don't know who should pay for that. Definitely the victims should, and the criminals should also be paying the victims, like, income for their, miscomfort, as it, with these people who are consistently harassing and victimizing people. There should be a fee that they pay to the person that they keep on doing that to. Now, here's the catch and the kicker to it, is the fee that, it's the proof. With it being criminal, it needs to be by preponderance of evidence. But when you're dealing with criminals that are so crooked, there should be a exception to the rule. And it should be with reasonable doubt, as if it's a like a compensation or reparation aspect of that criminal person, because you have to understand that in order for someone to live their life being violent and living a criminal lifestyle is because it pays. Now, whether it pays in actual liquid assets or hard assets, it's accommodating a lifestyle that nobody else can afford. And so now it's almost as if it's the government officials, the first class, second class is the criminals, and then the third class are, the cult followers of the, and then you have a fourth class that's actually trying to just, not be criminalized, not live a criminal lifestyle, and or treating people different than the way they want to be treated. So the golden rule should always be applied, where it's treat people the way you want to be treated. And so, the breakdown that, I experienced for the most part is dealing with the breakdown for the most part is, I don't know, the fact that, folks have to be ran down and whatnot. Just things are just not going to work like this no more. I don't know what's got to happen. So let's see the partial dock collapse. Let's see what happened here. This happened in Florida.
Dock collapsed at the Flip Flops restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. Chopper 6 over the scene of that aftermath. NBC6 reporter Ryan Nelson is live at the scene with more on what happened. Ryan, what can you tell us?
Well, Trina, we know that 4 people fell into the water and 2 of them were taken to the hospital after part of the dock collapsed at this restaurant earlier today. Now, this is the Flip Flops Dockside Eatery on Northeast 32nd Avenue. Now, when we first arrived, we saw investigators and firefighters on scene, but they have left in about the last 20 minutes. Now, my colleague Marissa Bagg obtained this picture of the dock that we're talking about. There you can see yellow tape surrounding the area where it looks like the dock may have caved in. Now, Fort Lauderdale Fire says 4 people who were having dinner there fell into the water. Now, this was the view from Chopper 6 as investigators processed the scene. Fire Rescue says the 4 people who fell into the water swam to a nearby boat and boaters pulled them on board. Now, we've learned that the people who went to the hospital were taken as a precaution for cuts and bruises. They suffered those injuries while they were trying to get onto the boat that I was talking about just a moment ago. Neighbors told me they never imagined a scenario like this playing out here.
That's very sad. I just heard, we didn't really know what happened. We saw some helicopters overhead, and then there was some, excitement down below, and then someone told us that the piece of the dock had fallen apart.
We tend to not sit on the dock so much because it's a smoking area over there. I don't know if we're, so we haven't, but we haven't been in a while. But I'm just, just shocked to hear that.
Now there you can see some video that we shot when we first arrived about an hour and a half ago. You can see the investigators on scene processing what was happening here at Flip Flops earlier today. Now Fire Rescue says the city will be investigating the structural integrity of the dock. That dock will remain closed as this investigation moves forward. Ryan Nelson, NBC6 News.
Thank you so much for tuning in. So everybody have a great rest of your day. And so you should probably hear from me in another 2 days or so with like a more in-depth video that I'll upload. So also, you should also support my channel. So you can cash at me at Decrease Crime. And anything that your heart lays on you will be greatly appreciated to the cause. It'll help benefit me because, now I'm just trying to, get everything situated back like it should be with any kind of revenue that I can find. All right. And so again, if anybody knows someone that may like this video, go ahead and share it. Also, if you like it, go ahead and comment on it. Like this video, share this video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.